Hello. Hey, Stacy. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Zoom Yoga.
YouTube yoga. Depending on where you're
There we go.
watching.
And Kristen, what fun. This is great. There we go. I'm going to mute you guys and we're just going to kick it off because we got 40 minutes.
And then they knock us off.
And then they knock this off. There we go. Spotlight. There we are. All right.
Feel free to send us a message if you have anything where, you can't see us. What's the matter with us? All right. And yes, we are live on YouTube. So, folks, hope you enjoy our practice today. This is going to be a bit of a, how do we put this? Today's going to be a little bit like a sort of wintertime restorative kind of practice. So, if you have a blanket, that might be helpful, a folded up blanket. I don't know if we'll use it or not, but it's here. So let's start today laying down on our backs. Yes! We'll start all the way down. Oh, this is great already. You can bend both knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Take the arms out into a T, and we'll begin. We'll begin with just letting the knees rock gently side to side, warming up the low back. And because this is a short class today, and it'll be longer next week, let's kind of get a twofer here. Start focusing on your breathing as your knees are rocking side to side. Just gently deepening the breath. You could even experiment with inhaling the knees up, exhaling, let the knees fall to one side. Inhale the knees up, exhale, let the knees fall to the other side. Inhaling up and exhaling, inhaling up and exhaling. Just continue at your own pace, following your own breathing practice if you want. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the knees up towards our chest, rock side to side a little bit here, getting a massage a little bit higher up on the spine now. We're in the lumbar spine region. And then coming back to center, let's hold under our knees and just draw little circles with our feet, warming up the ankles. First going in one direction. Breathing deep, maybe feeling your belly expand as you inhale and then fall back towards the mat as you exhale. And then when you're ready, we'll switch the direction, taking those ankle rolls the other way. And from here, let's interlace the fingers of both hands around the right knee, bring it in towards the chest, and you can either bring the sole of the left foot to the ground or straighten the left leg down along the mat, bringing that knee in right to the center of the chest for wind relieving posture. Glad we're practicing online today, huh? And then you can take your right knee out towards your right shoulder. Opening the right hip just a little bit. And then from here, hands can come down and you can just draw circles on the ceiling with that right knee. Rotating from the hip flexor here. We're warming up the hip joints by doing this. Winter is a great time for rotational movements, which lubricate the joints and keep them happy. When you're ready, you can switch the direction of those little circles you're drawing with your knee. Hands can be down by your side or resting on your belly, possibly feeling your belly rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. And then we'll just take that right leg straight out and maybe just wag the feet back and forth a little bit, loosening up from the hip socket. And then from here, let's bend both knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. This time we'll Bring the left knee in towards the chest, interlacing the fingers around the left knee. It's up to you whether you keep that right knee bent or you can straighten out the right leg down the mat, drawing that left knee in towards the chest, possibly feeling a nice stretch on your low back of all places. And then we'll take that left knee out towards the left shoulder, opening the left hip flexor a little bit. And then from here, hands can come down by your sides or rest on your belly. And we'll draw little circles on the ceiling with the left leg. Creak, creak, creak. I promise that's the floor and not my hip flexor. And then when you're ready, we'll switch directions, rotating from the left hip flexor. A little bit of popping and creaking is totally fine, even if it is augmented by the old floorboards beneath you. And then we'll straighten out that left leg next to the right, and again, let the toes rock back and forth. What do you want to do next? Your turn. He hasn't even thought about it.
No, I thought we were doing Shavasana on that.
We are, just the
Back.
legs.
Well, we can do other Shavasanas down
What you
on
got
our
next?
laying down.
Okay.
Let's take our arms and just raise them maybe an inch off the ground, tuck the thumbs into the palms, curl the four fingers around, and start rotating the wrists. Let the arms hang long. Let's take them up in front of us.
Arms raising up overhead.
Overhead, and then you can take them out down to the side, but clear it enough so you don't hit the floor. And the other side. Switch the direction you're rotating the wrists. And now we'll take them out with the wings up overhead, and then down the front of the body. And then you can flap them out a second, and then this is going to be fun. You can actually use.
I know what's coming.
You can actually use the floor. I might have to
and
back away from
I'll
my.
demonstrate this sitting up. So
You can do it sitting up too, but I'm going to do it laying down. You can actually rest your upper arms on the floor. Curl the forefinger. Put the thumbs inside the palms. Curl the four fingers around, and just make these circular motions with the arms. Doing it on the floor is neat because you can make sure your arms are staying nice and straight, and that your forearms aren't. You're not your forearms. Your aft arms. The other arms aren't moving too much.
Did we switch directions?
Keeping your shape. Switch the directions. Sorry, I did, but I forgot to tell everybody else too.
Ooh, I got extra.
All right, and then just flap them out.
No, let me get some more.
I'll get
Because I
more.
did a million on one side.
All right.
If you did a million on one side, do a million on the other.
I told you 1,000,000 times, do not exaggerate.
And then flap them out. All right. From here, let's just look over our right shoulder gently. So you're turning your head to the right. And let's look over the left shoulder gently, turning your head to the left. And let's just keep doing that a little bit. So looking to the right, looking to the left, looking to the right, looking to the left. So warming up the neck a little bit here, just looking side to side. And then bringing your head back to neutral, let's lift the chin, looking back behind you, lower the chin, looking down towards your chest, belly, feet, whatever you see. Look up, back behind you, look down towards whatever you can see. And then we'll stretch the arms long overhead, stretch the legs together, stretching long. Bending both knees. We'll roll over to one side or the other, pressing up to hands and knees for a little cat-cow extravaganza.
So lining up,
Starring Brian. Ultimate
More
cat-cow
people.
extravaganza.
Lining up. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to inhale, tailbone rises, belly drops, head comes up. This is cow. Exhale, drop the tailbone, round the spine, drop the head. This is cat. So we're just going to go back and forth, inhaling as we come into cow, Exhaling as we come into cat.
So I'll show it from the side.
This is one of the best exercises you can do for your spine.
So let's do it some more. Maybe even gussy it up with some jump roping.
So we'll do a jump roping type effect now. So this, next time you come through in the cow, as you exhale, round into cat. And then continue rounding to the other side, coming back into cow. So now it's like we're making I like to think that I'm making a jump rope type motion of my spine. You can let the head just sort of relax and go with the motion of the spine. And then when you're ready, go ahead and switch the direction that you're making that circle. And when you're ready, we can just come back to neutral spine.
Let's do a thread the needle. So
Yes.
your folded up blanket might come into handy here. We're gonna inhale the right arm up, opening up, twisting to the right. Then exhale, I'm gonna snake that right arm in between my left arm and my legs, bringing my right shoulder to the ground and possibly my right ear to the floor or to a blanket. From here, I'll turn around so you can see the juicy part of what's going on right now. From here, I can either interlace the fingers of both hands and straighten the arms, drawing that left shoulder back. So really opening up, looking over the left shoulder. If you want to go further, you can unlace the fingers, inhale the left arm up, and exhale the left palm to the sacrum, just to kind of make sure the hips aren't wagging from one side to the other, and they're pretty even over the knees. If you wish to go further from here, you can inhale that left arm back up and then slide those left fingers around the side of the right hip and maybe even tuck the left fingers over on the front of the right hip. And if you want to go even further and make this a balancing pose, you can tuck the left toes, slide the left leg back, and then lift the left leg just so that's parallel to the ground here. You want to keep the hips even so you can bring that left hand back to the sacrum if you want to check and make sure they're even. Either way, when you're ready, we'll exhale that left leg down. Left knee comes down right next to the right. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand down next to the face. Inhale, unwinding, right arm comes up. Exhale, right hand comes down to meet the left. And now we'll do the other side. So this time, inhaling, left arm up. Oh, I feel this between my shoulder blades. Exhale, left hand comes down in between right hand and legs. Left shoulder comes to the ground. Left ear comes to the ground or a folded up blanket. And then feel free to interlace both fingers. Hi, Bob. That's the first stop on the train. From here, if you want to go further, you can inhale that right arm up towards the sky. Bring it down to the sacrum. Just make sure your hips are even here. If they feel even and you want to go further, you can snake those right fingers around to the left side of the hip and tuck the right fingers around the front of the left thigh. If you want to go even further from here and make this a balancing practice, you can tuck the right toes, slide the right leg back, and then lift the right leg just, a foot and a half off the ground or so, parallel to the ground. If you feel like your hips are going off to one side or the other, you can bring that right hand back to the hips, check the sacrum, make the hips as even as you can here, similar to Warrior 3. And then when you're ready, we'll bend that right knee, bring it down to the ground to meet the left. Inhale the right arm up, exhale right hand down. Inhale, left arm up, unwinding. Exhale, left hand down. And then from here, before we even get up, let's do camel. How's it sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take off my
very warm wintertime cashmere sweater for this. So we're on our knees here. And again, folded up blanket might be your best friend, especially if you're practicing on a hardwood floor like we are, or a stone surface or something like that. So we're gonna do 3 rounds of camel. I don't know if we'll ever fully come standing in this practice or not, but let's make our low backs happy with us by strengthening, but also soothing. So we'll start with the strengthening. Feel free to interlace the fingers of both hands and just hold them right in front of your chest like this. From here, I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I can see myself in the monitor and kind of see how do I want to say this? How board-like I can make my body from the knees to the top of the head as I just kind of lean back a little bit here, strengthening the abdomen and preparing for camel. Not only is this a strengthener for the abdomen, but my quads are also talking to me right now too. They're telling me, oh, yeah, you're using your quads, you're using your glutes, and you're using your rectus abdominis, the 8-pack, the 6-pack that's in your belly. So from here, let's just do a couple more of these. You can time them with your breathing if you want. Inhaling back, exhaling forward, or vice versa, whatever feels right. Woo! My quads are talking to me. All right, and then when we come up, let's just bring our heels down to our hips, place our hands in front of us on the mat, and come into child's pose. So this child's pose, my knees are pretty close together, and my hips are really pushing down towards my heels. If you want a little extra push, you can spread the fingers wide on both hands, press into the ground, and push those hips manually towards the heels with the strength of the arms here. So I'm rounding the spine, particularly the lumbar spine, the low back. If you want to rock a little side to side, let the hips kind of graze over the heels back and forth a bit. That's fine. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up. Do you want to teach the next camel or do you want me to? It's a top toes.
Tuck toes. All right. So you can take your toes and now tuck them. And you can see Anne's.
Yeah, I'll make them more visible.
Yeah, we got socks on.
We got our Christmas socks on. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
So with your toes tucked, your ankles are a little more raised. Now we're going to come into camel. So let's try to keep a nice upper body, nice straight, long upper body. And you can do it a couple of different ways. You can just kind of reach back for those ankles. Sometimes I like to just take one arm, get that ankle, take the other arm, get that other. Well, it's a heel, not the ankle, but.
Do try to keep your knees right under your hips here. So if your knees want to splay out a little bit, just bring them a little closer to each other. Then come on back, find those heels. And once you're in camel, don't let the heart sink back. Really open up the heart here. You can either keep your head up like this, or if your neck feels ready for it, you can lift the chin. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely.
And when you're ready to come out, you can come up on an inhale. And
Ooh.
do another child's pose.
No, this time we're going to do something weird.
Unfolded.
Something weird. I'll show you from the front. I'm going to put my hands on my hips. I'm still on my knees here. And I'm just going to do these tiny little hip rolls on my knees. So it's not the big wide hip rolls that those who've taken this class before are familiar with, but just a little tiny hip roll. And to show from the side, it's a little harder to bring the hips forward from here, but do the best you can. And then when you're ready, we'll take that the other way. And then this last round. Yes, Brian's got it. You can untuck the toes if you want.
Or you can keep them tucked if you want.
And one thing I forgot to mention.
It's a little further back when you go there.
Yes, and there is one thing I forgot to mention in the previous round. If you don't want to take your arms back here, you can place the hands at the low back, either like this with the fingers pointing up, So you come back like that, or fingers pointing down, coming back like that. So either way, your choice. Hands can be at your low back, or you can reach for the heels and come on back. Remember, don't let those knees splay out to the side if you can avoid it. If you have a block, sometimes it's nice to place a block between the thighs and really push in on that. If you don't, just be mindful. And when you're ready, woo, we'll come back up. This time we're going to come back down to child's. But for this child's, we're going to do something special. So I'm actually going to take this blanket out from under my knees. What's that? What is it?
Keep an eye on what we got left.
Oh, I know. I see the clock. You a big clock watcher.
We got somebody eager for this class to be over, I think.
We're working against free Zoom limits.
Yes, next week will be a longer practice. This
Closing of the rec center was a surprise for all of us.
So, coming into child's pose here, we'll hang out here in child's pose for just a second. Laying the low back, have a break. Inhaling deeply, possibly feeling your low back expand as you inhale. Exhaling completely. And then from here, we're going to do a traditional rabbit posture. It looks a little different from the other rabbit posture we teach in this class sometimes. So I'm actually going to take my hands back now. So my arms are no longer extended in front of me. I'm going to wrap my forefingers around the outside edges of my feet and my heels. So to show you from behind, that looks like this. My thumbs are kind of down by the sides of my feet, the outer top sides, I guess, although they're the sides that are close to the ground. And then from here, I'm going to lift the hips and tuck the chin, possibly resting the crown of the head on the ground or letting the crown of the head rest like an inch off the ground, lengthening the spine this way. I'm rounding in between the shoulder blades and lifting through the hips. I'm actually lengthening the low back. So curving up into rabbit posture. And when you're ready, hips can come back down. We'll come back towards hands and knees. And I think one sun salutation is all we really need to fool with today. So let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, pedal the heels down one by one if you need to stretch out the back of the legs a little bit. Lengthening the upper body, lengthening through the legs, getting a nice stretch through every long muscle in the body here in our downward facing dog. And when you're ready, looking up towards your hands, you can walk, step, float, jump, levitate, whatever it is that you'd like to do to come into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Knees can be bent just as much as you need them to be to get the fingertips to the ground. And then from here, we'll gently roll all the way up to standing. Shake it off a bit because what is a yoga class with Anne and Brian without some shaking? So just loosening up through the body. And then when you're ready, hang out right here at the front of the mat for just a sec. Oh, I can't get enough of this shaking. I thought I was going to do a sun salutation, but this is so good. You can even let the shaking be kind of twisting. That's fine. Keeping everything loose in a time of year when everything wants to congeal, freeze up, and harden. That's the secret. All right, now, I can't stop. It's too good. All right, other than that, your choice whether your feet are hips width distance, which is 2 fists between the arches of the feet, or big toes can come to touch, whatever you like. We'll inhale the arms out wide and up, coming to a slight back bend. Exhale, folding all the way forward as we begin our sun salutation A from the Ashtanga primary series. When you're ready, we'll inhale the palms to the shins, flat back, so lengthening the spine. Make sure to keep the chin tucked here so the cervical spine is nice and long. Let's breathe here for a second. You can bend the knees if you need to really maintain that flat back. Looks very nice, Brian. Beautiful flat back.
They got the mirror here.
I know, we got a mirror. It's almost as good as the rec center. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale, folding forward, placing the hands on either side of the feet. Let's step back to a high plank. And then from this high plank, keeping the heart open, we'll bring the knees down, the chest and the chin. If you really want to do a chaturanga instead of that, you can. Exhaling all the way down, letting the hips come down all the way. We'll inhale up. Let's come to Sphinx. Talk to me about the Sphinx. What does it look like? How does it feel? What are we doing?
Elbows should be directly under the shoulders.
If you want to measure, you could even grab opposite elbows.
If you can't do this and grab both elbows, I don't know if you can see me, but if you should be able to grab both elbows, and then you bring your forearms forward ahead of you, straight out, and relax the shoulders down. Up. And then even
visit.
It's almost like you're trying to. A friend of mine said, it's like you're trying to show off a necklace.
Beautiful necklace.
So you roll the shoulders down and try to bring the chest as forward as comfortable high. And then just breathe into this. Try to let the, if you're clenching your butt, let it relax.
This feels so good. But I see we have 13 minutes left. So when you're ready, we'll come all the way forward and let's come into Pranam. I'll move back a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Pranam is great. This is possibly the most grounding posture of them all. So I have my hands, my arms are out long in front of me, shoulders are still down. My forehead is resting on the mat, legs are together, palms of the hands are together. And then literally just lying face down on the ground. Being present with my body for just a minute. I know it's your dinner time, man. I get it. And then when you're ready, we'll slide hands back to under the shoulders. Come through hands and knees. To downward facing dog, lifting the hips, not taking the shoulders too high up by the ears. We keep the shoulders tracking down the spine towards the tailbone. So ironically, the shoulders are going up, but not up towards your ears, up towards the tailbone. Hello. Oh, thank you.
He's giving you an assist.
Oh, totally. And then class, pure class, man. I get it. And then from here, we'll walk the feet slowly towards the hands, coming into your forward fold. Very nice. From here, we'll inhale up towards flat back. Exhale, folding forward again, bending the knees as much as you need to. While we're down here, let's interlace our fingers behind our low back here. So I have my hands clasped behind my low back, and then I'm going to take the arms away from my low back. So stretching the heart open a little bit in my forward fold. You're too much, Mom. Then when you're ready, hands can come back down towards the ground. Inhale, coming all the way up, swan diving, slight back bend. Exhale, palms come down to the chest. And then from here, let's have the feet slightly wider than hips width distance. We'll inhale, arms out, widen up. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, coming all the way down through a yogic squat. So let's hang out in our squat for a second. If you need to sit up on a block or something, take it. So here in our squat, let's just get one quick twist in. We'll do a hip opener and call it a day. So from here, I'm going to reach my right arm long in front of me and wrap it around my right knee. I'm going to bend my right elbow so my right palm is sticking out at the back of my right hip. And I'm going to take my left arm up, looking up to over my left shoulder, and reach back and grab for the right hand. If you
can't get the right hand, just grab your shirt or your pants, or if you have a strap, you can have the strap. I'll turn around so you can see what it is I'm doing here. So I'm doing a twist on the right side like this, looking over my left shoulder. Very nice. That's what I'm saying. Get the hell off of here. Then from here, I'll unwind my bind. Same thing on the other side. So the left arm reaches forward and then bends around the left leg. Left palm is sticking out by the left hip here. Right arm reaches up and back, grabs the left hand or the shirt or a strap or whatever it is you need. And you look out over the left shoulder. Getting a nice twist to the left. I'm sorry, over the right shoulder. Getting a nice twist to the right. And then from here, you can unwind, place the hands on the mat right in front of you, and then just come down to seated. Yes, I know, I see you. And Brian's going to teach us bound angle posture.
So we can, well, first, let's real quick, just with the knees bent and the feet on the ground, let's just take the knees,
Oh, okay, that's a
and
great
do this
idea.
again, just real fast, just to kind of, you know, loosen up the low back. And then we can come to sit up. What's that?
This guy's getting pugilistic.
Come to sit up, and then we will bring the feet to touch. And if you like, if this is easier for you, if they're further out, that's fine. If you want to do it real close, that's fine too. Whatever's, you know, making you feel what you want today.
Make sure that the spine is nice and long here. So no matter where your feet are, we really want to keep the back long. And then when you're ready, gently fold forward. You could even sway side to side.
Yeah, sway that side to side as you get there. Like a leaf.
Like a leaf.
Slowly falling to the earth.
In the dark midwinter. Maybe a little late for leaves to be falling. And it's okay if your spine rounds a little bit when you're down here, but if you almost want to walk the hips back a little bit, that might help you lengthen the low back as you come forward into your forward fold. So we'll just hang here for a minute. I know it's very upsetting for some people in this yoga room.
The cat.
Oh, he's crying his head off, yeah.
He's not even doing any of the work.
And he's out again. Breathing deep. And you're ready. And come back up so slowly, so gently, hooking the hands under the knees, gently close the knees. Again, you can place the hands on the ground behind you, letting the knees rock side to side. And when you're ready, feel free to do any other postures that you'd like to do. Otherwise, we'll come right into Shavasana. So one foot goes towards one corner of the mat, the other foot goes towards the other corner. Take ourselves on down to lying down. Palms are palm face up. Hands are about a foot away from each hip. You can tuck the chin a little bit just to lengthen the upper spine, the cervical spine, the neck. You can tuck the tail a little bit to lengthen the low back. And you can lift the chest an inch off the ground, tuck the shoulder blades together, and then let the chest come right back down, opening up through the heart. Whole body breathing. Whole body peaceful. when you're ready. If you're ready. Feel free to bring some life back to the fingers and toes. Maybe turning the head side to side. Maybe rolling the wrists, rolling the ankles. You can bring your legs together and stretch your arms long overhead. Stretching long like a pencil. And then when you're ready, you can bend both knees. Maybe even bringing them in towards the chest one more time, rocking side to side. Eventually rocking over to one side or the other and laying in a fetal position for just a second. Honoring your body, honoring your practice. And then when you're ready, we'll push down with one hand and then the other. Coming up to a comfortable seat. You might be sitting on a blanket. Feel free to grab your blankie. And we'll do a couple rounds of prana mudra, the gesture of life force, before finishing up. So inhaling the arms out wide and up, maybe even leaning forward a little on the inhale. Exhale, pushing down, possibly leaning back. Inhale, arms out wide and up. Exhaling, pushing down. Last time, we'll inhale the arms out wide and up. Bring the hands to prayer. Exhale, the palms down to the center of the chest. And if you wish to join us in Om, you're more than welcome. Inhale deeply. The light may season on is the light in all of you. Thank you for practicing with us today. Namaste.
Namaste.
Those of us on Zoom. So,
They're cutting us off any second
they're
on
cutting
Zoom.
us off.
So we're going to
Thank
try to
you.
do it again next week but we're going to take